shells today. What did they look like? What were some of the overall observations?
Oh, they were really good out there. They were excited and running around, and they were physical. We pounded the fist a little bit today. They were great.
Coach, I want to ask you about this "We Want to Play" movement that's been spreading all over Twitter last day or so. What's your take on this?
It's the piece that people don't really understand unless you've been in a locker room. What those players we talked about today. They usually get to play about 40 or 50 snaps a game. Each play is about 4 seconds. So they're playing right at 200 seconds a game, which is about 3.5 minutes a game. For 12 games, they're talking about 36 to 40 minutes of playing football. That's not why those kids, they love to play the game, don't get me wrong. But there's a much greater value to football than just playing the game. That culture talk, our brand, we talk about all the time, it's a carrot to make an incentive to those young men to do the right things in life. When we take the football away, they're going to get right. And they know they need that. We knew we needed it when we were young men. So that's the thing that's it's very sad, and those kids don't want to lose that. They love being a part of the locker room. This is the best part of their day for all these young men. And it breaks my heart to think that we don't understand how important the game of football is for those young men. That's what it's about.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, Chase, you're up. Greg, you're on deck.
Yeah, Coach, to kind of build on JJ's question and your answer there, you know that all these young men are on social media. They see all these different things. What do you tell them as a coach, or what can you tell them as a coach to kind of keep their focus here and to give them some reassurance right now?
We talk about it all the time. It's what's scary about the way we are today. All that matters is what our closest people think about us. What does our family think? What do our teammates think? What do our coaches think? Our real inner circle. We live in such a society where we're all so worried about what everybody thinks. All that matters is what our closest people really believe. And we've had to bubble ourselves so we can make sure we don't have COVID, so we can go play the game. And our bubble is enough right now. It's sad I haven't seen my mom and my dad. I hate that. We're all dealing with that. But it reaffirms to us how close our bubble is and the relationships we're developing. And I can only speak about our team, how our team's responded. And I love being with them every single day. And they love being with us every single day. And it's not easy, man. Football's not easy. Padding up and being out there for 3 hours is not easy. But we love being around each other. We love what we have here. And that's really all I can speak of, what our guys do. Our guys do it right.
Excellent. Thank you, Coach.
Hey, Greg, you're up. Travis, you're on deck.
Jeff, one of the points that was raised in that conversation yesterday was the idea that actually playing the season is safer for players than not playing the season. Is that a sentiment you agree with?
There's a risk either way. There's no doubt about it. I do feel like there's a greater risk of the kids not playing. It's my personal opinion. You asked it, so I gave it. Just because what's our plan? What's our plan for these young men if we take this away from them? What do we have for them? That's a high risk. There's risk involved in football, period. We all understood that. We all played the game. We've all coached the game. We all love the game. So these kids have thought through it. I mean, they get tested here once a week. When we're done, if they were to cancel the season, we're still going to test them. What is that going to look like? That's my greater. I have an issue, period, if we don't play. But number two, if we don't, what's that going to look like if we don't play? We need to have a plan in place for these young men so we can go out and execute that plan to give these kids hope, keep them fighting every day. We lose hope as humans. That's not good. And we need to be tough, strong, and fight for what we believe in right now. And our kids are committed to doing that.
Okay, Travis, you're up.
And Coach, saying all that, it feels like college football is trending in a direction where this week it could possibly get shut down. Do you get that sense from what you're hearing?
I try my hardest to never look at it. I really do. I'll even start to unfollow certain people because I don't want to know stuff. And I know you're thinking, well, Coach, you can't bury your head in the sand. I got enough people. You know, Kyle keeps me abreast. Dr. Compost lets me know. You guys are great about letting me know. And I don't want you to think that I don't not respect what's going on. I do. But I also know what we have going on here. And it just breaks my heart to think that these guys might not get to do this anymore. And it's going to take somebody with some strength and some courage. Texas High School Coaches Association, those guys are rolling. They're putting out their stats every day about how they're testing, how many of their kids, 0.05%, whatever that is. And it can be done. It's just a matter of, are we willing to do it?
Okay, Greg.
Jeff, you mentioned that information is everywhere. And, if you're seeing it, obviously the players are seeing a lot of this stuff as well. As the reports come out and things, does it change the atmosphere in practice or how they respond to what you guys are doing?
You would think it would, but it just reemphasizes how much these kids have bought into what we're teaching them about our culture here. This week's Pound the Fist. It's a great reminder. This is more than just football. It's more than just a game. It's being a part of something greater than the individual. And these guys know this is not just a blip on the radar for them. We're going to have real relationships with these men for the rest of their lives. And that's why it's so tough on all of us. And I know I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but it's when I first got the job, what is my why? How many men can I make out of how many boys? And when you take the football away from me, I don't have that ability to help young men become men. And I've said it before, I was a high school coach for 15 years. I had 30 seniors a year. That's 450 boys. How many of those became men? How many of those helped their families, helped their city, helped their state, helped their church, helped their community? That's what a man does. A boy takes. A boy takes. A man gives. And you take the football away from us, that's every single coach. And we're not their parents. We're not their parents. We understand that. But our job is to help parents. And for the kids that don't have parents, a lot of us have become that for them in their lives. And when you remove that coach from all those old men, all those young men, that's not good for them. And I just wish more people understood that.
One of the interesting developments in the conversation yesterday was some of the Power 5 players started pushing for essentially what amounts to a players' union. Do you see that as something that would be a positive development for the sport?
It's always been a players' game. Our players understand that. Our players have great ideas. They should have a seat at the table, but they and they know I'm going to make the final decision. They know I'm going to listen to them. There's some ideas we got going on the field right now that those are some kids' ideas. They know we listen to them, and that's a two-way street. They got to listen to us. We got to listen to them, and that's what coaching is.
Hey, at UTSA, how do they get a chance to voice that? Is it just like an opportunity to speak up in team meetings, or how do you make them feel like they have some power in what goes on?
Well, we'll eventually pick a leadership council, one representative from each group, and they're all competing for those jobs right now. And I'll meet with them once a week for an hour, and they know they're representing each one of their groups. It's kind of formulating a little bit on its own right now, even though we haven't voted for it. Just ideas they have, anything like they don't feel comfortable with, we'll talk about it. I really don't. We got to take care of for them. And that's how you know someone's listening. You don't always give them everything they want, but if it's something they need, we can take care of it. We're going to do that for them.
Okay, Hector, you're up. Hector, did you have a question?
Not be muted.
Now I'm unmuted. Apologies, Coach. Good.
You went from mute to being frozen. You there, Hector?
Yes, can you hear me, Coach?
I got you. I look frozen now. Here we go. We're good, Hector.
You can hear me, Coach?
Yes, sir.
All right, apologies for all that. Along the lines of Greg's questions here, Coach, in the short term, with this we want to play movement, is it too early to kind of go down the road of, let's say the conferences do decide we're postponing the fall? Is it too early to even look at the options of we want to play and what that can result in right now? I mean, what would that mean in terms of possible football in the fall, even with what was decided by the conferences and maybe the NCAA? Is it too early to start looking at those kinds of scenarios?
It's a great question. I hope the powers that be have been somewhere meeting. There's a lot of smart people in this country. We need leadership. We need somebody to get the greatest minds together and get a plan going. And I hope and pray that's what's going on behind closed doors. And I have faith that's what's going on. So whenever this time comes, if it really does happen, Hector, that someone has a plan that we can all follow. That's what great leaders do. And I'm sure you all want the same thing.